Turning to page 2 of the week 10 worksheets for Math 1010. The top of the page, it says applications, and we're looking at example 1. Stereo World purchased Pioneer XL receivers at a discount of 45% from its supplier's suggested retail price of $480. Okay, let's pause there for one moment. Like I say, I'll post this full question in the description. Now, these applications are questions that are larger. They're bringing together everything we've covered in Chapter 4. So we're going to use all our skills, basically. So this first part, you'll have to recognize, so there's a bunch of things we have to calculate in order, but for the most part, we're going to give them to you in a logical order. Oh, and for reference sake, this will be about a 6-mark question, 5 or 6 marks out of about 30 marks on test 3. So it's a pretty big question, lots of things you need to calculate. So what was that first question telling us? They purchased their receivers at a discount of 45% from its supplier's suggested retail price of $480. So this sentence is actually giving us the cost. Remember, we are the store. We are buying from the manufacturer and we are selling to the consumer. So this is giving us the cost, except we have to calculate it. Recall that the list price is basically the manufacturer says there's, in theory, a price this radio should sell for. Now, as the store, we get to choose the price we actually want to sell it for. But that's their reference price of what it's worth, and then they will sell it to us at a discount. So the list price, L, is $480. And we are getting a trade discount off of this price of 45%. So if we take 45% off of this $480 price, that will give us the cost, what we are actually going to pay for it as a business. Okay? So the cost, or C, is going to be derived from this equation that we had before. N equals L times bracket 1 minus D bracket. The net, remember, the net price that we actually pay, which is going to be the cost, is equal to this list price that they're telling us times 1 minus the discount as a decimal. So let's put that in. So I'm just going to go straight to it. So cost, C, is equal to, so that's going to be 480 times bracket 1 minus 0.45, 45% as a decimal. So the cost is going to be $480 times 0.55, because if we take 45% of the price away, we're left with the remaining 55% of the price. That gives us a cost of $264. Great. Let's fill that in our diagram as well. Remember, on the test you don't need to do these diagrams, but if they help you, great. The test we set up actually does have some boxes available on some of the questions if you'd like to use them for this purpose. So the cost is $264. And, like I say, this second row of boxes is for the sale price, the reduced price. The cost isn't going to change there either. It is still $264. Let's see what else we can fill in. Stereo World's normal rate of markup on selling price is 40%. Okay, so this detail, markup is going to be equal to 40% of the selling price. Okay, let's take a look at that. So here in my chart I have cost, overhead expenses, and profits. And remember, markup is equal to expenses plus profits. The markup, we are marking it up to cover our expenses and hopefully have some profit left over. So this markup is equal to 40% of the selling price, S. But this cost plus expense plus markup, cost plus expense plus profit, it equals the selling price. That is 100% of the selling price. Or selling price equals cost plus markup. Well, the markup is 40% of the selling price, so the cost has to be the other 60% of the selling price. 60% plus 40% equals 100% of the selling price, of the regular selling price. So before even going further, we can use this information to calculate the regular selling price. So what have we got? We have, so like I say, cost is 60%. So selling price is 100%. And sure, markup is 40%. So markup is 40%. So the cost is the other 60%. And in total, the selling price is 100% of the selling price. Make sure which percent you're talking about, because we do have a percent of cost also coming up in this problem in a little bit. So try not to get them switched. But this works for percent of selling price. So let's just take these guys, put in our value for cost. We calculated the cost. It's 480 minus the trade discount. Our cost was $264. So forget about that $480 price from this point on. That's a suggested retail price. It's a suggested selling price, but it's not really the price we have to use. We might sell for that price, we might not. Let's calculate that out now though. So a cost of $264 is 60%. So how much is the selling price of 100%? So selling price equals 264 divided by 0.60, which gets me $440. Great. So the regular selling price is $440. And the cost is $264. Let's see what other information the question gives us. The manager wants to clear out the remaining XL units because the manufacturer has discontinued the XL model. Okay, no numbers in that sentence, but it's giving us some setup of what's going on. Sounds like we're going to be putting this thing on sale in a minute. What rate of markdown, so we are putting it on sale, what rate of markdown can Stereo World offer and still break even on each unit? I'm going to read it. Remember, to break even, we have to sell it at a reduced price that covers costs plus expenses. So in fact, we want to break even, so our reduced price is going to be equal to our break-even price, SBE, break-even price, which, what does that mean? That means profit, the regular profit is equal, the reduced profit is going to be 0. So that's partly why I drew this diagram like I did. You have costs, you have expenses, and then the markdown in this case is going to be exactly what the profit is, the regular amount of profit. So you have some amount of profit, but we are going to just break even. So we're going to have exactly $0 of profit. So our markdown actually is going to be whatever the normal profit is. Let's look at the last sentence and then I'll come back to this though. Right, and so that is just going to be cost plus expenses. That's what we're looking to calculate. Do we know the expenses? We have one more sentence. On average, operating expenses are 35% of cost. So that one isn't too bad at all. So we're saying expenses are 35% of cost. So remember, not 35% of the selling price. It's 35% of cost, and we have that number. So it's purely take 35% of $264. So expenses are equal to 35% of cost. So expenses are equal to 0.35 as a decimal times $264. So the overhead expenses are $92.40. So we can put that in, $92.40, and that doesn't change when we reduce the price either. And yes, they were saying, what rate of markdown can they offer and still break even? Well, let's find that break even price then. There's actually multiple ways to find this rate of markdown. We need to find how much they're marking it down. I'm going to find the break even price first. So S at break even is going to be cost plus expenses. So that break-even price is going to be $264 plus $92.40. So the break-even price is $356.40. That's our that is a sale price, but it's a special sale price where we, like I say, are making exactly $0 profit. Discount. So, markdown. How much did we save from the regular price of $440? So, D equals S minus S, well, the reduced selling price, but I'll just call it SBE because that's what we've been calling it, the break-even selling price. That is a reduced selling price. So that's $440 minus $356.40 means we saved $83.60. That's how much we marked it down. The customer saves it, not us, because we're the store. And so what is the rate of markdown? Finally, rate is just turning this into a percentage of that regular selling price. So the rate of markdown is equal to D divided by S. So that's $83.60 divided by $440. That is, and like I say, turn it into a percentage, so times 100%. And that is exactly 19% in this question. I mentioned there are other ways to solve this. I mean, most of this we had to go through basically this procedure in this order. But in this case, we knew that the markdown in this case was equal to the regular profit because we were setting it to a break-even price, because we were setting it to the reduced profit being equal to $0. So we could have also just calculated the regular profit. That would have been our markdown. So D equals P because break even reduced price. Reduced selling price. So yes, if you had wanted to, you could have said, well, I sell for $440 and I'm going to subtract off these costs of $264 and expenses of $92.40. That leaves me with $83.60, which was the profit before, and that's exactly how much we're marking it down. So that's the slightly different route, but it's the same math basically. We're still using all the same numbers in